It's time for your daily dose of all things Chicago sports. This is the Daily Score. Now, here's your host, Mark Grote.
Hey, what's going on? Sorry if you're watching on YouTube. My attention is slightly divided right now because behind me there's a classic Cubs game on, and man, it's the Reds and the Cubs. It's got to be 1989 because I just saw Jerome Walton, who usually is followed by Dwight Smith, and now I'm seeing a young Ryan Sandberg come up to the plate. Cubs lead the Reds in the top of the third in this classic game. From Ron Oster was playing second base. So I'm going to occasionally be looking back and telling you about a Cubs game from 1989, if you don't mind. That's going to happen. But mainly we're going to talk about the Bears. We're going to hear from Yannick Ngakoue in this episode here just a little bit. We're still getting to know him, getting to get a feel for him. So you're going to hear from Yannick Ngakoue. I'll also update you on the Bears injuries as best we can. We don't get a lot of information on the Bears injuries in the preseason just because it's policy. The teams are not obligated to give details. And so the Bears don't give details. But I did ask Matt Eberflus about the injuries today, and he answered it a little bit less ambiguously than he usually does. So we're going to hear from him. I am looking forward to, and this is an FYI for listeners and viewers of the show, I will be blasting off for Indianapolis on Wednesday. I'm going to be there through Sunday. The Bears are doing the dual practices with the Indianapolis Colts, from whence Matt Eberflus came. Of course, was with the Colts as their defensive coordinator before he came to the Bears. So he has a familiarity with a lot of those players, and I can't wait. Looking forward to two night practices, Wednesday night and Thursday night. That's going to be a blast. There's something about the evening practices that just bring out a little bit more juice, a little more spark. It's because you're under the lights. It's cool. It's fun. And you get to practice against a different team. And we're asking several players about the dual practice and what one can get out of it. And Andrew Billings, the Bears nose tackle, from whom you're about to hear, I thought had an interesting answer on why these practicing with another team, as the Bears and Colts will do, why is it? Hold on a second here. Who's coming up? Oh, yeah, Dwight Smith at the plate right now for the Cubs, who lead 1-0 in 1989. But anyway, Andrew Billings on why these dual practices are good.
The benefit is they don't know what you're going to do. We've gone against Jeff. I know what Cody Whitehair's going to do. He knows what I'm going to do. So it's kind of just, it keeps you thinking now. And now I'm going against a guy that I don't know nothing about him. I haven't watched any film, and he hasn't watched any film on me. So, you kind of get away with your little vet techniques and things like that when you go against somebody else. But by the time the second day comes around, he's back to square one.
That's real, that eagerness or whatever.
Oh, yeah, it's real. Because, you can play a little harder when it's not your own teammate. That's what, basically.
Did you get credited with a sack today in 11 on 11?
I'm about to find out. I got back there, but I don't know. We'll see. Because you're talking about when I just ripped up in there? Yeah, I think that might give me a sack on that one, because I'm not going to just re-rip and try to get to the quarterback in practice. That's not going to happen.
Andrew, on that play, I think Coach Overstreet was saying juggernaut. Is that? That's
my nickname. Yeah, that's my nickname.
How do you like that?
I like it a lot. That's the way I see a nose guard in the defense. No matter if it's pure read or attack, you're the middle of the defense. So, you got to hold it down no matter what. That A-gap has to be there, and can nothing come through, basically.
Good stuff right there from Andrew Billings. I would love to be called. I don't think I've ever heard a better nickname than Juggernaut. I don't know. I love Andrew Billings. Is he worthy of Juggernaut? Hey, man, if that's what they're calling him, good for Andrew Billings. But, yeah, there's a little bit more nasty when you can go up against another team. And everybody's being caught. We can't get in fights and all that kind of stuff. But I'm looking forward to watching everything from the one-on-one battles, the drills that they do that are usually bear on bear. And in this case, it'll be bear on Colt. And that kind of stuff will be fun to watch. Go up against another team, get to see, Justin Fields in 11 on 11. I doubt they're going to do full tackle. They do what they call thud just bring the guy down. I just saw Dwight Smith strike out in this 1989 Cubs game. It reminded me that Jerome Walton was the Cubs Rookie of the Year that year, and Dwight Smith was the runner-up, and neither really were ever heard from again. I mean, they were, but it was like their careers went downhill after that. All right, couple more things here from the Bears. Before we get to Yannick Ngakoue, Nate Davis was finally practicing in a limited capacity, but still talk about being ambiguous about the injury that he has sustained for, having missed camp up until now, essentially, and not really giving us anything to go on as to whether or not he's going to be able to go full force anytime soon. So he was very, he was holding back. Let's put it that way. Still don't know what's been going on with Nate Davis, but at least he was practicing in a limited capacity. Like I said, we're still getting to know Yannick Ngakoue. Did not play in the game on Saturday. Has been limited in all of the practices in terms of just not going full speed, just because they're ramping him up because he was, not playing, not in anybody's camp until the Bears did sign Ngakoue. So here is a couple minutes of Yannick Ngakoue.
Other guys, when you ask whether it's going to be good to hit somebody who's unfamiliar coming up, but the guys you're about to go face, you might be more familiar with facing them than you are the Bears on the team right now.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of good dudes that I play with on that team, built a lot of relationships over there. So I'm just excited to be able to go say hi and, practice with those guys and, also just see how they're doing.
When you go up against a team, even in the preseason or in a practice, that you used to play for that you don't play for anymore, is there added motivation at all? Or?
No, there's always motivation when I hit the field. Just trying to represent, the organization as best as I can and represent the name on the back of my jersey as best as I can, no matter if it's going against my own teammates or going against the opposite color jersey.
What did it take to get 91?
What did it take? No, just, me and Dom, we have just a common respect for each other, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I just felt like I said, it's respect. And, we sorted some things out. Can't really drop the details like that, but great question though.
You played similar defenses to this one. How would you kind of describe the transition and how smooth the adjustment's been for you?
I feel like it's very smooth for me. I'm blessed and thankful that I'm able to have Coach Travis again, and he's a guy that he's a great teacher. He allows you to just be yourself, and he's the same guy every day coming to work. So that's somebody that I love to, play for and get coached by.
Saw you working with Trevon Dexter at the back of the end zone last week, working on some moves with him. Is that something that you offered him, or did he ask you for your advice?
I just see a lot of potential in him. I see a lot of myself in him as well. His first step is quick. He's a young guy, and I feel like he can be a day one guy that can just affect the quarterback, affect the run game. So I just wanted to just shed my knowledge on him. And you can always learn stuff from the young guys as well.
That year you were in Vegas was kind of a crazy year. I mean, with the coaching change and everything that happened. With Coach Travis, you talked him up a lot in your relationship with him. Just how did he help get through all that as you guys were going on that roller coaster season?
Yeah, I just feel like adversity brings togetherness, you know what I mean? And it just tests your character. And I was a special group, a group that was able to endure, a lot of adversity and able to still be able to get to the playoffs. So I feel like, going through those kind of distractions and seeing how far the team went that year was pretty special.
That is Yannick Ngakoue talking about the trip to Indy. And I love the stuff with Trevon Dexter because, I saw him working. I said back of the end zone. I just realized that. It was in the back of the sideline where that was happening. But to see him working and, watch the body language and showing him specific moves and saying that he's got a hell of a first step. I like that. I love that kind of stuff. I'm a sucker for that, like the aged veteran who's been through the wars working with the wide-eyed rookie, and that's what Yannick Ngakoue was doing with the second-round rookie from Florida, Trevon Dexter. Last thing, I got my my notes out here on the phone. I mean, it's the same guy, a lot of the same guys you've been hearing us talk about as far as the Bears injuries. Tremaine Edmonds, DeMarcus Walker, Terrell Smith, Jaquan Brisker, Chase Claypool, Josh Blackwell, Lucas Patrick, Dylan Cole, all missing practice. And so, I did ask Matt Eberflus about it today. How are these guys doing in their recovery?
We feel good where everybody is. The guys that are doing the therapy and the rehab and that's all on track. They have a method to it, and there's stages to it, and everybody's on track. As coaches, do we always want them back faster? Yeah, that's what we do, right? But we got to make sure that they're on track in terms of speeds, in the pool, speeds on land, and their start and stops are right, and then we start working them into practice. So that's where some of those guys are at right now.
Yeah, and I think what Eberflus is saying there, this is at least just what I'm inferring from what he is saying, is that you can afford to be picky about who's healthy and who's not right now. Like some of these guys might be 80%, 90%, which would mean during the regular season they would certainly play. But while it's training camp, especially with some of these veteran guys, if they're not 100%, then there's no reason to have them out there. At least that's what I'm inferring. And again, always give the disclaimer here that they have said that if it's a serious injury, they will tell us. If they're not saying anything, we are to presume that they are not serious injuries and it's day to day. And that's, again, just the check in right there. And we need to check in every once in a while, and that's the check in for Matt Eberflus. I didn't even mention that Greg Maddux pitching this 1989 Chicago Cubs game just knocked somebody down. I think it was Mailer. Damon Berryhill is the catcher for the Cubs in this game too. So that's about it for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. I apologize for being slightly distracted by the 1989 Chicago Cubs game, but I just can't help myself, man. Baseball was so different back then. Everything just looked so different. Hope you guys are having a great week. I will talk to you from Indianapolis. For the executive producer, Ray Diaz, I'm Mark Grote, and I will talk to you soon.